When the original Naruto series first began, fans instantly knew it was something special. The story of a young outcast ninja striving to become Hokage captured hearts everywhere, and as the series evolved, it introduced a whole new generation of shinobi ready to continue that powerful legacy. Among them was one boy who immediately stood out, Konohamaru Sarutobi. From the very beginning, Konohamaru showed ambition, courage, and potential that hinted he could one day become as strong, or even stronger, than Naruto himself. Fans believed he was the perfect candidate to carry the torch into the next generation. But when Boruto to Naruto Next Generations came along, that bright promise faded fast. Instead of being portrayed as the worthy successor or rival to Naruto, Konohamaru was sidelined and stripped of the depth and power fans expected. Despite being a Jonin and the leader of the new Team 7, he became more of a background character than a real force in the story. What could have been one of Boruto's most inspiring storylines was lost to poor writing choices, leaving many wondering how the series could waste such a perfectly built-up character. Konohamaru wasn't just another supporting character in Naruto. He was introduced early as someone with strong ties to the village's legacy. Being the grandson of the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, gave him an immediate sense of importance. His bloodline alone carried enormous expectations. But what made Konohamaru even more special was his personality. He wasn't content with just being known as the honorable grandson. He wanted to prove himself, to earn respect on his own merits, and to follow in Naruto's footsteps. But not just to copy him. He wanted to surpass him. That personal ambition was one of the most exciting seeds planted in the early days of Naruto. His relationship with Naruto was a highlight of the original series. Naruto treated Konohamaru not as a spoiled kid or a burden, but as someone who could become great if he worked hard enough. Their dynamic was full of warmth and rivalry, and it gave fans hope that Konohamaru might one day take up the mantle as Naruto's true successor. Through small missions, pranks, and moments of training, Konohamaru's growth was slow but steady. Every time he appeared, fans could see a spark of leadership and intelligence in him that mirrored the great ninja of Konoha. Over time, Konohamaru became more confident and skilled. He even managed to learn the Rasengan, one of Naruto's signature techniques, and that alone was enough to show how far he had come. He didn't just learn it by watching. He mastered it through determination, making him one of the few characters outside Naruto's inner circle to do so. His courage during the Pain Invasion arc, when he stood his ground against one of the series' most terrifying villains, proved that he was no ordinary shinobi. It felt like the beginning of a new era where Konohamaru could truly become a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, Boruto never truly honored that buildup. By the time the sequel began, Konohamaru had become a Jonin and the leader of Boruto's team, which should have been a dream come true. Fans expected him to take on the role that Kakashi once held, a wise, powerful, and emotionally complex mentor guiding the next generation. But what they got instead was a watered-down version of the character, barely given any spotlight or meaningful development. While Konohamaru was supposed to lead Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, the story rarely allowed him to do anything impactful. Most of the time, he stood in the background while the younger characters stole the spotlight. Even during fights, when his experience and skill could have been highlighted, the story often found ways to make him lose or be taken out of action early. This nerfing of his power wasn't just disappointing, it felt disrespectful to everything the character represented. Compare that to how Naruto treated its older mentors like Kakashi or Yamato. Both characters had their moments to shine. Kakashi, for example, was shown as both a brilliant strategist and a deeply emotional figure who carried the trauma of his past while still being one of the strongest ninjas alive. Even Yamato, who wasn't as iconic, got moments where his power and leadership were respected. In Boruto, however, Konohamaru rarely gets that treatment. He's reduced to giving simple advice or reacting to situations rather than leading them. This isn't just about screen time, it's about purpose. Konohamaru's entire character arc was built on the idea of surpassing Naruto. But by the time Boruto starts, that ambition seems forgotten. He doesn't have personal goals, meaningful rivalries, or emotional depth anymore. He's there, but the story doesn't know what to do with him. It's like the writers wanted to focus entirely on Boruto's generation and forgot that the older generation still has stories worth telling. What's worse is that Konohamaru's fighting ability has been heavily downplayed. He's a Jonin, a rank that should command respect, but he struggles in fights that feel far below his level. Instead of being the powerhouse and strategist fans expected, he's portrayed as a weak link. Even his Rasengan, once a proud sign of his bond with Naruto, barely gets used meaningfully. In a show where power levels keep rising, Konohamaru should have been right there alongside the greats. Instead, he feels stuck. That lack of growth hurts even more because Konohamaru's character had all the ingredients for greatness. He had lineage, motivation, intelligence, and the drive to push himself. He could have been the bridge between Naruto's era and Boruto's, representing how the will of fire carries on through generations. Instead, he's treated like an afterthought. Every time a big conflict arises, the younger characters take over and Konohamaru is left on the sidelines, giving orders or watching helplessly. Still, even with his diminished role, Konohamaru remains an important figure in the story. His presence as a mentor symbolizes stability and tradition in a world that's changing fast. But that role could have been so much more meaningful if the writers had chosen to explore his struggles, his desire to live up to his grandfather's legacy, his feelings about Naruto's success, and his place in a world where technology and science are replacing traditional ninjutsu. Exploring those themes would have made him one of the most complex and human characters in Boruto. There's still hope, though. The Boruto 2 Blue Vortex arc offers a chance to make things right. The story has already shown hints that Konohamaru may step into a more important position as the Hokage's top advisor. This could finally give him the spotlight he deserves, allowing him to display his intelligence, leadership, and power in meaningful ways. If the writers choose to build on his foundation, Konohamaru could once again become the strong, inspiring ninja fans always knew he could be. Seeing Konohamaru finally step up and take command in major battles would not only be satisfying, but also serve as poetic justice for years of underdevelopment. Fans have waited too long for the day when the boy who once looked up to Naruto as a hero finally proves himself worthy of standing beside him. Konohamaru doesn't have to surpass Naruto in pure strength. His true victory would come from fulfilling his own identity and proving that he's capable of leading the next generation with his own values and skills. The tragedy of Boruto's treatment of Konohamaru isn't just about lost potential. It's about wasted legacy. Konohamaru was meant to be a reflection of Naruto's journey, a reminder of how hard work, determination, and courage can turn an underdog into a legend. By nerfing him, the series lost a powerful emotional thread that could have connected both generations of fans. As Boruto 2 Blue Vortex continues, the creators have a golden opportunity to fix that mistake. Giving Konohamaru the recognition and growth he deserves could breathe new life into the franchise. It's time for the story to remind fans why Konohamaru was special in the first place. A boy who never wanted to live in anyone's shadow, but to shine on his own. Konohamaru's story isn't over yet, and if done right, he could still become one of the greatest characters in the Naruto universe. The franchise needs to remember that heroes aren't born from bloodlines or destiny. They're made through perseverance, heart, and the will to keep fighting, no matter how many times they're overlooked. And if there's one character who embodies that spirit, it's Konohamaru Sarutobi.